Do you know what to look for in a real estate professional? Do you know what a real estate professional is? How do you still help your friend who's a realtor that you don't want to work with? My name is Robert LaFrance, and I'm going to go over some of these questions with you in the short video of how to identify a real estate professional, how to properly work with one, and how to still help your friend that you don't want to work with that is a realtor. And what all that stuff means to me, okay? So check it out. Woo! Hey everyone, Robert LaFrance here. I'm a veteran Navy diver, entrepreneur, and father.
Hey, good morning everybody, Robert LaFrance here.
Yeah, favorite thing to do.
Hey, good morning Facebook Live. All right, if you
Alright, my name is Robert LaFrance. I'm a veteran Navy diver. I'm here out of the Norfolk, Virginia market, coming to you, not live, recorded, and to help you accomplish your goals. Okay, and right now one of your goals is maybe buying or selling a house, and you want to get more information on how to do that. A lot of people think they know what a real estate agent does. Oh, they're just going to help me buy or sell a house. Yeah, that's in a nutshell. But if you were to pull back all the layers that the onion of a real estate professional does or has, there is so much more that they can contribute, offer, and help you with, depending on what your goals are. So, I have a little list here. What it means to me, we're going to go over that. We're going to go over why it's important to work with a professional, a real estate professional, how to choose who you work with, and how to still help your friend, all right? So what it means to me. What does it mean to me to be a real estate professional? Well, outside of my own opinion, a real estate professional is earned, or that title is earned when you hit 10,000 hours or more a year in the industry of real estate. Okay, so you got to eat, sleep, and breathe real estate, all right? You got to be in there, all right? Now, my opinion is someone who is almost like a doctor, okay? This is your real estate doctor. He understands your goals, your timelines, your interests, and why you think you need his job. Okay, and oftentimes a professional, an ethical professional, will indicate whether or not his services are of value to you. You know, okay, hey, well, you know what, Mrs. Seller, buyer, I know you think that you're ready to buy a house or sell your house, and per what we just talked about, you know, I don't think it's in your best interest to hire me as your realtor. I don't think it's a good idea for you to sell your house, or I don't think it's a good idea for you to buy a house in this area. There's different things that they'll do, and how they're going to do that is they're going to give you a consultation. They're going to either walk your property, give you a value, let you know if there's any work that needs to be done, if you need to get work, ways around it. You know, right now there's a lot of people hurting for cash and they can't put money out into repairs on the house, or you know, whatever the situation is. But think of a real estate professional as your real estate doctor. And a good one, an ethical one, will help you accomplish your goals, whether or not he gets compensated or not. You know, everybody's got to eat and stuff like that. But as far as being in real estate, it's all commission based. Do you know what I mean? So if I were to, you know, give you great business and tell you, hey, this is the best plan that you need to do, despite my getting paid, that's still the ethical and right thing to do to help you get business. And honestly, 100% transparency. If I do that for you and you have a warm and fuzzy feeling knowing that you did the right thing and I helped you do the right thing, that's going to generate more business for me. And that's what you really want to do. You don't want to do anything with anybody you don't want to do anything with. You want to hang out with your friends because they're great, they support you, and then you help them have fun and all that stuff. You help everybody in either way. It's the real estate professionals the same way. Okay. So after the consultation, they identify what you need, and you know, you identify your best interest. Now we're going to go over strategies, whether it's to buy or sell your house. Now, everybody's got diverse backgrounds. Everybody's got different business backgrounds and education and certifications, and you know, the list goes on and on. Now, the question here that you have to ask yourself and the person that you're interviewing is, you know, how are you right for me? You know, you can either ask that out front or you can ask that to yourself and look for the cues and the answers that professional gives you when you ask them those questions. You know, how are you going to sell my house? Okay, well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I actually have a 13-step process that I'm happy to share with you from the time of listing consultation from when it hits the market, the first 4 to 6 weeks of it being live, all the way through close and after close. And here it is right here. I can either go over it with you or I can send it to you digitally. Which would you prefer? Okay. When you're trying to figure out what it is that you need to do, selling always isn't the best option. I know a lot of people want to get out of stuff as soon as they can, and whatever scenarios, but most people buy a house to either raise their family or they're using it as an investment for forced savings. And I will always ask you right off the bat, why do you want to sell your house? Because as the doctor, when you go to the doctor, you say, hey, I don't feel good. We say, okay, what doesn't feel good? Why? What did you do? What makes you think that it's, you should be taking this course of action? I'm going to do the exact same thing with you. Why do you think you need to sell your house? Why did you buy your house originally? Is it just because you were here for a couple years? Do you want to, do you know that owning real estate is the long-term wealth principle, and owning multiple properties is going to, only increase in value and put more money in your pocket as forced savings that you can tap into and use as your college education? Because if that was the original point, why are you selling your house 2 years from now? Let's think about what is important to you and make sure we can still accomplish those goals despite whatever short-term struggles or goals that you might be having. All right. Distressed sellers. A lot of people, you see these we pay cash for houses and stuff like that, real estate investors. That's a creative financing technique, and there's a lot of great people out there that do it. But if you're in a distressed seller in your distressed scenario, my job as a professional, being held to an ethical standard, is how can I help you? All right, you're a distressed seller. Is selling your house the best option? What other kind of options or strategies are out there? Who do I know that can help you get out of this scenario before you have to sell it or go into short sale or something? A lot of things will lead up to you being a distressed seller, and that's up to you to make sure you do what you're supposed to do, but not everything happens that way. It's not always the way the cookie crumbles. So your profession needs to be knowledgeable, have to have great resources, experience, trained, and willing to be there for you. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. Why is it important to work with a professional? It's important to work with a professional because of the things that I just said. If you don't have a warm and fuzzy, if you think that the person's just telling you what to do, or because you got pre-qualified through another lending, through a bank, and they're saying, hey, if you work with our agent, we'll give you $500. That's not always the best option, because is the $500 worth the next 3 months that you and your agent are taking time in the car, driving from property to property, eating lunch, sitting in these houses, trying to picture your family growing up in? Are you working with this person well? Do you like him? And do you think that he has more to offer you than just, hi, I'm Rick, I'm here to help you buy a home. Okay, cool, take care. Who do you know? So there's a little bit more to it. So it's important to work with a professional, not because of the hours that are in the year that they spend in real estate, but their experience, their resources, and their willingness to help you accomplish your goals. And that's one of the biggest things that I think of. And on the buyer side or the seller side, when they're talking about for sale by owners, when you're a buyer, right now in the seller's market, it is no cost to you to work with a buyer's agent. All right, so the benefits of being a home buyer is you're working with an agent that the seller has to pay for, and they're in there working. They know the legal documents. They do this all day, in and out. They market, they talk to people, they look for properties. As an investor, I'm always looking for different properties and talking to different people. So through that exchange or experience, I'm adding more tools to my arsenal to help you in your thing. Like, oh yeah, I remember this property that I looked at 3 days ago. It might not be a good fit for you, but what we were talking about could help you in this particular instance. Do you know what I mean? So, and then for the seller side of things, unless you have the time or you've done it before and you have the resources, it's way better to use a professional for liability reasons. If you're Mr. or Mrs. Seller and you're trying to sell your home by yourself and you don't know all the tools, and the other professionals that you are working with aren't, giving you the information that they either think that you know already or that you don't know, there's a huge liability issue there. When you sign these agreements and these contracts, or these representation agreements with the agents, that's to hold both parties accountable to make sure that both people are trying to do, or both people do what they're supposed to do, in addition to everybody's aware of who's responsible for what. So if a seller sells you a home that was used to cook methamphetamine, and they didn't ever disclose that to you. Now you're experiencing issues under the home ownership. You can't do much because you did a for sale by owner. Whereas if you were to use a professional on both sides of the table, both parties are signing saying, hey, I'm aware that this property was never used to cook methamphetamine, or yes, it was, and you have to disclose that. And then if you don't, you can be held accountable, and repercussions will happen. So that's a little bit about that. How to choose who you work with. Proper questions. Asking the proper questions: who, what, why, how. And order those in a way that they're there for you. One of my biggest things is, this is 2019. People live lives. Big real estate teams have hundreds of transactions, work with multiple people. Different people do that. But you just really want someone that's there for you. You can call me at 9:30 at night and say, hey, I saw this property, or shoot me a text, whatever. Hey, I saw this property, or hey, I have a question about this, or hey, I feel uncertain about what we just did. Can you help me? Of course. Are they there for you? Do they have resources to help you? Are they there for the setup? Are they working with the team? And if they are working with the team, do they work with the team efficiently so you don't feel as though you're getting tossed around from person to person? Are they all on the same page? And you have to identify that. You have to ask the questions. Hey, how many people am I going to be working with? How do you guys communicate? Do I have to tell my story over and over again when I talk to person A, B, and C, or is everybody on the same page? Are we going to generate a group chat? I would like to generate a group chat. Are you open to doing that? Real estate, one of the things that I love about real estate and why I got into it is because the freedom of flexibility of how we do business, and to generate as much business or as little business as we want. So for me, where I'm at, I would love my business to scale, but it's really important for me to have a great home buying or selling experience and relationship, making sure that both people are enjoying each other's time and resources to successfully sell or buy your home. And that's all I have to say about that. So how to choose who you work with: make sure that they're looking out for your best interest, and ask what resources they have. Every brokerage has a different amount of resources. I'm with eXp Realty. I left for a little bit, but then I came right back because the amount of resources that they provide, not just to the agents, but for agents to use in the buyer's or seller's behalf. The amount of resources that we have are international. Like in this area, we have an abundance of engineers and medical personnel relocating to this area. You wouldn't know that unless you had some type of technology or platform that gave you that kind of demographic data for you to utilize and saying, what, I think we should be marketing your property online in India because I know that there is a huge amount of personnel that transfers from India to here, and then or advertising those companies. So when you ask your agent what they're going to do for you, it's okay to, these consultations can take up to an hour and a half, depending on how well they're doing. And then you kind of get a feel. You get a feel of how hard the agent wants to work for you, and you also get a feel, me, the professional, get an understanding of how hard you want to work for the purchase or sale of your home. So that's something to think about. And how to still help your friend that you don't want to work with. Okay, and it's totally okay. It's totally okay. If you have a friend, like anybody else, that has 10 realtor, real estate agent, someone in real estate professionals that want you to work with them, it's okay if you don't want to. And one of my friends specifically did not want to work with me because he wanted to be able to yell at the person if they did something wrong. And I was like, well, why do you want to yell at someone? There shouldn't be anything done wrong in the first place. And yes, but at the same time, he didn't want to put our friendship at risk with the largest sale of his, with the largest sale that he's going to experience in his life with his property. And he wanted to make sure everything went smooth and still have our friendship at the end. And I totally respect that, and I thank him for being honest with me and telling me that. So if you have some people and you want to buy a house or sell your house and you don't know how to do that without hurting people's feelings, the best way to do it, in my opinion, is to go to that person and say, hey, Robert, I know you're a realtor. You're going to see this down the road. I want to let you know that I'm not comfortable working with you due to our friendship. I don't want to ruin that. Can you please help me screen agents so I can still get the best service possible while still helping you? Because this is what happens, people. Whether you're local or long distance, we have what's called a referral fee, okay? And If for some reason you're relocating to another area, or if you don't want to work with me, or if I think that you would be better working with somebody else, I can still give you to a professional that's going to help you accomplish your goals while still, getting paid. I'll be getting paid a percentage, but it's still looking out for your best interest, and you'll still be supporting my business. So that is one of the things. One of the biggest things is be honest with your real estate friend or friends. If you got 1,000 of them, you don't have to tell all of them, but tell your closest one that probably expects you to work with them for the purchase or sale of your home, and then say, hey, listen, bro, sis, I'd love to work with you. I just value our friendship too much, and I don't want to ruin it because I know this is a very emotional process, selling or buying a home. And as much as I respect you, I don't want anything to happen that will hinder our relationship after we close. So if you don't have an issue, if you could do me a huge favor, help me find an agent that you know that I could still work with and kind of keep you in the loop and help me buy or sell my house. If you do that, you will be loved. You'll be loved. They'll be, they might feel a little like, oh, let me still do it. But if they're your friend, they will totally get it, and they will still help you out, and you'll still be helping them out by getting a referral fee, and you still buying or selling your house to your terms and conditions. And that is one of the biggest things, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, is buying right, buying to your terms, and then the agent should be there to help you. This is a perfect time to tell you a story of one of my friends that I represented. I represented one of my friends. We were looking at a house within this price range, and all of a sudden, he looks at this property that's $100,000 over his price range. It's on a river. It's a beautiful house, and I was like, "Hey, bro, I'll sell you this house, but we were just looking at houses in this price range. What happened? How are we going to do this? Are you sure you're going to be able to afford this? Help me understand why you think that you're going to be buying this house is a good decision." And he did it. He laid out all the evidences. He made it his commitment. He's like, no, this is the one that I want. I'm going to refinance my house here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to rent it out. I'm going to house hack, blah, blah, blah. And so he did it. And it come to find out that later he had started telling our friends that I took advantage of him and that I just sold him a property that was more so I could get a higher commission. Listen, I'm not trying to ruin anybody's relationships just for a couple extra $1,000. You know what I mean? No, I'm straight. As a professional, I learned that if I am going to work with my friends, I have to let that standard down right from the beginning. Listen, we're going to draw the line between friend and professional right now. Moving forward, I'm going to be your real estate agent or realtor during this transaction process, and it will be in both of our best interests if you respect my professional advice and suggestions and make sure that we stay on track. And then also from the other side, from your point of view, do the same thing. You don't want to be overbuying a house. You want to make sure you listen to professionals' advice, and that's why we do that. That's why in chain of commands, there's fraternization isn't allowed, because if you start intermingling with the people that you work with and you get friendly, then people are like, whatever. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. So I think with all that being covered, I think we did a pretty good job in a vague nutshell kind of thing. My name is Robert LaFrance. My contact info is right here. Subscribe, comment, ask any questions away. If you are in the Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads market, let's grab a cup of coffee and get to know each other, and I'll share my story with you, and you can share your story with me, and we'll figure out what we can do to help you buy or sell a home or get your empire started. And then if you're not in my local area, I would still love to help you get ready, prep, and plan for your purchase or sale, and then put you in contact with one of my resources, one of my professionals from eXp Realty. These guys are hungry. These are independent agents. Look, I've never met so many awesome, supportive agents of one another, and then also everybody else. And I say that because I just screened a couple agents from my roommate who owns a property in North Carolina that he needs to sell, and he was going to go with his friend's referral, and then I was like, hey bro, let me just talk to him and see what he's going to do. I talked to him, and unfortunately this gentleman was very, very unprofessional, and the phone call didn't last very well, and I was like, you know what, brother, you're free to do what you want, but I don't recommend using this referral. If you don't mind, I'll tap into the Facebook marketplace or access my own resources and see who's willing to help you in that area and who's willing to answer my questions for your best interest. And everybody, any good agent will be happy to answer some questions for you, whether it's agent to agent or for you, to make sure that you're doing it right. And that's pretty much what happened. And that's a great way to identify whether a guy's a professional looking out for your best interest or not, or whatever ego's in the way. Because if someone doesn't want to interact with your agent or something like that that's looking out for your best interests, how are they going to interact with you during the process? When it's 10:30 at night and you're signing documents and you're communicating with the listing agent or vice versa, and you're dealing with personality conflicts, that's not the time to do that. You want to hash all that out before you sign agreements and start working with each other. And there's tips and tricks about agreements and how long you can work with somebody and stuff like that. And I'm more than willing to help you that. Follow me on Instagram, LaFrance Life, Facebook, Robert LaFrance. I'll just put all that stuff in the comments. Let's get this going. I'd love to look forward and hear your story and help you get closer to your long-term wealth and build your empire and help you raise a family in your house and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so let me know if I can help you in any way. They say that confidence is contagious and the tide lifts all boats. So I'd love to help you help your friends, all right? Thank you. Take care.